Greetings my fellow Fright Fiends, it's your buddy Boogeyman Ben here for a new episode of Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone, and today's video is going to be a movie review, horror movie review. This is a movie that I've been waiting for a while now, ever since it was first announced. This is the 7th film in the Child's Play franchise. I still call it that even though they haven't been called Child's Play since the 3rd film in 1991, but I still call it that. But I've been a fan of Chucky and the franchise since the first film, which I still consider a masterpiece. I absolutely love the first Child's Play film. It's one of my favorite horror films, one of my favorite 80s horror films as well. But this is going to be talking about the 7th film in the franchise, which just came out today. Today is October 3rd, and it is Cult of Chucky. And I've already done a video about, this unfortunately getting leaked online earlier. Said my piece on that. Today was the first day I've seen the film. It is also available on DVD and on Netflix, so people can check it out there if they're interested. I'm just going to give a quick overview about what the film deals with, and then talk about my thoughts about it. Pretty much what the story deals with is you have Nika, played by Fiona Dourif, Brad Dourif's daughter, and it's 4 years after the events of Curse of Chucky. She has been committed because of the events that happened. She blamed Chucky for killing her family, and her shrink, the psychiatrist that's working with her, has pretty much gotten her to admit that she committed the murders in the first film and not Chucky. So she's moved to a minimum security facility, and Chucky tracks her down. The thing I love about this film is not only do we see the lovely Fiona Dourif come back as Nika, who I was a huge fan of, and I think she's one of the best female heroines in the franchise, but also the return of Alex Vincent after a over 20-year hiatus from the franchise. Of course, he had a small after-credits scene in Curse of Chucky, but this is the first film since Child's Play 2 where he has played Andy Barclay for the majority of it, which is awesome. And I was really happy to see him back as an adult. I love the Andy character, and I thought it was fantastic. Of course, you have Jennifer Tilly showing back up as Tiffany, but I've always been a fan of hers. And of course, who cannot say enough fantastic things about Brad Dourif and his vocal talents as Chucky, who, in my opinion, is the only person that can voice Chucky. I'm so glad that he is still with this franchise over almost 30 years later. He's just with this franchise almost 30 years later. Brad is fantastic, and I loved him coming back to do the voice. Now, my thoughts on Cult of Chucky. I really enjoyed the film. The thing I really loved about this film is the dark tone to it. I feel like it's as dark as Curse and much darker than Seed and Bride, which I'm not a big fan of. I enjoy elements of both Seed and Bride of Chucky. Seed probably on the lower end. I really just thought that was just too insane. I just couldn't get into that film very much, even on repeat viewings. But I really love what Don Mancini has done with Curse and Cult. I kind of feel like he's put a new spin on it, especially with Cult. I feel like this franchise could go in a lot of different places now based on the outcome of this film. And I really think it played well. I think what the character of Nika is going through is really well done. Also nice to show what Andy Barclay would be like now after what he's gone through, and the fact that, he's survived what he's survived. There are a couple of issues I have with the film. Primarily, I would have liked to have seen Alex Vincent a little bit more in the film. But when you have the two different storylines going on, the one with Nika took precedence. It's a small nitpick, I think, just because I'm a fan of the Andy character and he was so missing from, three of the 7 films. So it's like it's nice that they set him up so well in part 6. It would have been nice if he would have been in this one a little bit more. The thing I love is what they've done is they're doing practical effects. Yes, there is some CGI in it and various shots, but for the most part, all of this is an animatronic puppet, and I just think it's great that in a day when we're seeing everything CGI and there's a lot less practicality to effects, the fact that the death scenes in this and the effects with the Chucky doll are all practical. I love it. I think it's fantastic. There's some terrific gore in this. I think this had some of the some really great kills in this film. And like I said, that was all practical. I really love. There was a couple of scenes that just really, my jaw hit the floor with how brutal they were. Again, I think this is one of the most bloody Chucky movies that I've ever seen. I do really like the ending. A lot of people are having problems with the ending, but I really thought the ending for this one was interesting. And some of the story elements that are presented in this film, it really makes the next film in the franchise, if they do an 8th film, lots of possibilities. And I commend Don Mancini for doing something different. That they're taking a few risks here, and I think it's great. I really enjoyed the film. I would put it on par with Curse. My favorite is still going to be the original. The original Child's Play is always going to be my favorite, I think, because of the simplicity of it. But I would say that this is a decent, really well done film. I definitely recommend supporting it, supporting Don Mancini, supporting the cast, the crew, people that worked on it. Because if you don't, then we're not going to get another one. And if you're a fan of the franchise, yeah, I mean, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but the thing that I've always loved about the Chucky franchise is that it is continuity has always been taken into consideration, and everything that's happened before is relevant in this film. So I think that's great. They did that with Curse. You know, everything kind of transitioned over, and there's little Easter eggs in this film that I really love that harken back to the original film series, the first 3 films, and I really love that. And yeah, I really love Cult of Chucky. I think it's a great film. I recommend fans of Chucky and the Child's Play franchise checking it out. If I had to give it a rating on my scale, I would give it 4 skulls. So that is my review of Cult of Chucky. I'm curious what people that have seen the film think about it. I really think it, you know, it's definitely worth checking out. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I like the new elements that they presented. I like the outcome of the film. It really is a little bit different and interesting. And also, one more thing, stay through the end credits, because there is a surprise. And it fucking kills. It's awesome, in my opinion. I thought it was fantastic. I definitely recommend it to anybody that has followed this franchise for the last 30 years, which is crazy. But yeah, that's it. That is my review of Cult of Chucky. I'm curious what everyone else thinks. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Please no spoilers for people that haven't seen it. Just share your thoughts on the film, and I really appreciate all the continued support. And thanks so much for watching Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Peace.